Channel. Coming up, a look at your local radar. But first, the current local conditions. Regional conditions. Your local 36-hour forecast from the National Weather Service. Extended forecast. Special regional information. The forecast for cities nationwide. Forecast. Your local radar showing any precipitation and its movement during the past 90 minutes. Intensity is indicated by the color code at the top of the screen. You're watching the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
Thanks for tuning into the Weather Channel. The bottom of the hour, Mike Bono with you. The rest of this hour, Michelle Sislow is our technical director. As we look at that cold pattern that we've had in a lot of the West, some places near normal. In fact, it's been record high temperature type weather in Seattle the last couple of days and cooling down today. But east of the crest of the Rockies, see how close to the Rockies you can be and be below normal with over 50 inches of snow on the ground at West Yellowstone, Montana. Then from Casper to Cheyenne to Denver, running more than 6 degrees above. A little bit of a snow pack in the northern plains and near normal temperatures above, back down just west of Houston toward Corpus Christi, and more than 6 degrees above normal, Louisville, Indianapolis, Dayton, New York City. Today, Casper, Wyoming, 49 degrees, getting some of the last licks at some warm weather before some cooler weather comes on in. We've had a lot of activity in the southern branch of the jet stream, and that includes a coastal storm that brewed off the southeast coast the end of last week, and now some locally heavy and flooding rains in parts of Texas. The northern branch, north of which contains the Arctic air, kind of waving its way around now, dropping at least partially into the northeast with some colder weather on the way, and into the northern Rockies and northwest as the temperature drops. But big changes coming in. The northern branch of the jet will pop northward in the west and bring some drier and warmer weather for the most part, and pretty sunny weather except for some fog here and there, and maybe some impulses with showers over the Rockies, snow showers. Big changes in the east, both branches of the jet stream tightening up in the south, dragging that cold Canadian air for the first time this season really far to the south, and some snows in parts of the northeast. As we check our temperatures right now, we'll see that It's really not that cold any place yet, especially in the south. Atlanta, Georgia, headed up close to 70 today, 60s into Raleigh and Norfolk, 50s back close to St. Louis and New York, and a little bit of cool air in the northeast, which we'll talk about in just a minute. There are some 20s, but still it should be even colder than that today. Minneapolis close to 30, and even some teens in northern parts of North Dakota, and mild, if anything, in the Rocky Mountain west compared to what it could be and what it usually is. A front coming on shore now. Yesterday it was battering the northwest coast with some 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, some rain, and the Sierra still getting some snow, and the rain headed for the Wasatch of Utah as snow. Around Sun Valley and Schweitzer in Idaho, a little bit of new snow too. But look at this, high pressure, ironically, one continuous ridge, but it's almost spring-like here, cooler, and then Arctic air to the north as one front after the other pinwheels around what will become an intense low in the eastern part of the United States. And as we look at our progression of clouds, some of them connected with rain and some light snows in the northeast, the leading edge of the cooler air, instead of being foggy, is a very distinct line of low clouds coming through Des Moines and Chicago and toward Indianapolis, Detroit. A gloomy, more wintry sort of a day developing in the upper Midwest. And yeah, actually some clearing around La Crosse and toward Duluth, Minnesota as that cold air filters in. But check this out. Copious moisture, abundance of moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico into Texas, and that will be a player in the week to come. That moisture is going to be a major factor, and it could be wintry in the next couple of days. But right now, almost tropical, mostly east of the Houston area and up toward Dallas, repeatedly pinwheeling around an upper low back around Del Rio, Texas, which had some record rains in the last 24 hours. There you have it. Flash flood watch still in effect from around Matagorda Bay up toward Galveston Bay and then some, and that continues through the PM hours today. As we notice that feed of tropical moisture from the Gulf of Mexico through Lake Charles and Shreveport and the piney woods of East Texas. Waco is wet. Zooming on into Dallas, a little bit of a break back toward Mineral Wells, although some rain, but a little heavier Collin County to Greenville, Texas, and to the southeast of Dallas right now. And less rain to the west of Houston, but from Houston and Galveston on eastbound along I-10, it's a rough and wet go of it, so be careful. Changes coming rapidly toward the northeast after some record warmth. Well, a mixture in the southern tier of New York, still some freezing drizzle around Bradford. And we've had some sleet around Glens Falls, New York. A little bit of snow in Burlington and Montpelier now, as well as the Adirondacks, but raining around Watertown. Pretty rapidly moving eastward. It has been raining lightly at Albany, the higher elevations, the Adirondacks, Green and White Mountains, getting some wet snow out of that, moving toward Maine, and rain in the southern parts of New England. Pretty light. To the west, our west coast trough, and it was a strong front yesterday, weakening, but the rain still in the Intermountain West coming up on Salt Lake City, turning to snow in the mountains. As we see any precipitation that's there on radar through Idaho into Montana, even the Tahoe vicinity down through the Sierra getting another shot of snow, as is the Cascade Range in the Pacific Northwest, with snow amounts expected, especially around the Four Corners. Well, how about the rest of the week and into the weekend? First of all, we start with the current map once again, noting the cold air beginning to pinwheel around our eastern low, and by tomorrow, well, one front almost down to Atlanta, another one washing out because the cold air is just filtering right through it. The high pressure ridge will be the dominating factor rather than our front or our trough, and some of that cold filtering into the south. So we have rain well south, and it'll be a cold rain around Huntsville, Alabama, but then that rain moves up toward higher elevations and into colder air. Southern Appalachians and Piedmont could have some wet snow to worry about, possibly, but it looks like it'll only be in the mountains this run. But as the next low comes out of the Rockies, more wintry precipitation east of the Mississippi. Precipitation heavy in Texas, some additional snows in New England, and back into the Rockies, more than 6 inches in places. As those temperatures tumble, we can see them. Although Denver gets a shot into the 50s quickly, they'll be heading down after that. And as we go into our New Year's weekend, well, we'll notice much, much colder air coming in and our precipitation moving in as well.
This room is filled